One of the biggest problems that we face in our business and in our life is the acceptance that just making it through another day is okay. Now, I'll have you consider that as a particular group of successful, striving business owners, we've been force-fed that we should be grateful for what we have. We've been told that we're lucky. We've been told that we're lucky to be able to make the choices that we can, and we've been instructed to be thankful for the flexibility that standing on our own 2 feet provides. Yet, in my experience, if you speak to most successful business owners, they struggle. They struggle with the fatigue and the persecution that standing on your own 2 feet entails. And I don't know about you, but it's you as an individual that runs a business on his own, that not only runs one, but runs one that started to survive and started to thrive. But for me, one day the reality hit me square in the face. And as much as it sounds dramatic, I realized that what I was doing was actually killing me. It was killing my relationship with my wife of 10 years. It was killing me any relationship that I was ever going to have with my 3-day-old son. And it was killing everything that I was on the inside as it slowly rotted my body and my state of mind. Barney, my son, had literally only been breathing 72 hours, yet here I am at 7:25 driving home from an important meeting after being out of the house since 6:30 in the morning. As I drove the 68 miles home in a hot summer sun, I came to the slow realization, everything that I've been working so hard to beat the odds, everything I'd done to survive the first 3 years in business, even though I was proud of what I've done, even though everyone around me had seen me as someone that had started to have some success, the reality was that was a complete and utter state of conflict and crisis. All things considered, if you worked out my hourly rate, I probably would have been better off sweeping the floor in McDonald's. Ultimately, what had happened was I'd built a business that was a noose around my neck, and it's fucking painful. It's painful when you realize that everything you've worked so hard for, everything that you've grafted for, everything that you've gambled on, everything that you were told was going to make everything all better is actually fucking killing you. It's killing you fast. Now, like many, I'd actually left the rat race on the promise of freedom. Yet while friends and other people enjoyed the luxury of paternity leave and child benefit, here I am at the helm of a business, at the helm of a tool that carried the promise of a lifestyle, a promise of freedom that I crave, yet 3 years in, and I was more fucked than I'd ever been when I had a job. I'd seen firsthand the cold, hard facts and realities of what comes with having a business that just has one man at the helm. You see, for me, it all starts with what we call an age of conquest, a period of excitement, a period of greener pastures, and a period where there is something better, a period of 12 months of passion to make sure that you're in the top 5% of self-starters. A period where you want to make sure that your business survives. Make sure that you make a milestone that internally justifies to ourselves all of those endless and sleepless nights. A milestone that justifies the lack of income, a milestone that justifies to friends, family, and acquaintances that you are right to take this leap of faith and to start on this conquest we call having your own business in the first place. Now, the best part of survival for any business that leads you onto a new road, a road in an age of expansion. Now, I'm not talking about expanding into multiple fucking offices. I'm not talking about taking on 1,000 employees. I'm talking about being smart enough to expand your business, your passion, to a place where you're making a difference. A difference to your life, a difference to your family, a difference to what you are providing at the end of each and every single month. A period where your business is now a place where you are overwhelmed with pride for what you have done. A period where friends and family start to look at you differently. And a period where you start to experience a state of power as someone who has risen up above the mediocre majority and is now standing on your own 2 feet. That said, the trouble with the age of expansion is always this: no matter how successful you are, no matter what industry you're in, and no matter how big or small your business has become, consider for a moment that history dictates that an age of empire is always followed by what we call an age of conflict and crisis. A place inside of one-man empire that we call no man's land. A place that, in my experience and in all seriousness, is all too familiar with most of us in business because it starts with a simple trigger. A trigger we call the overstretch. A trigger caused by you becoming in such demand that you end on taking on work that you shouldn't. A trigger amplified by you taking on work and shit that you know that you can't fit in. A trigger catapulted you into saying yes to things because you feel like you have to. And here's the problem with triggering the overstretch. Overstretch immediately leads you to the choke. And you know the choke, right? The choke is that feeling when you wake up at 2:37 in the morning while everyone in the house is asleep. And you're like, fuck, I have still got emails to do. Fuck, I've still got all these quotes to follow up on. Fuck, I've still got customers to deal with. And fuck, I've got a family that deserves my time. And fuck, I've got no time to do all of it. And herein lies the big problem with the choke. Something has to give. And when something has to give, do you know what happens? The choke force is the lowest hanging fruit to fall from the tree and stop dead in its tracks. Now for most, that means sales stop, that means marketing stop, that means family time stop, and I have you consider that's exactly why directly after the choke, you and I will always face persecution. Persecution from your customers for dragging your feet, persecution from new prospects because you've not followed up calls, and most importantly, the likely persecution from the loved ones at home, from your wife or your partner, because you're never 100% present. And I get it, the persecution is not fair. Because after all, in my experience, it's never your fault. You're just trying to do the right thing. You're trying to provide more for your family. You're just trying to make more for your kids. You're just trying to be a better person. And that sometimes means making sacrifices, right? Trouble is, those sacrifices and our internal justification of why this okay doesn't fix the guilt. It doesn't stop the arguments at home, and it doesn't buy you more time with your kids, in my case, with my newborn son, which is why the persecution drags us to the bottom of the barrel. A state of utter panic, a place of even longer days, a place of sleepless nights, and a place where our bodies suffer both physically and mentally because of the fatigue and the systematic onslaught that happens inside of no man's land. A place I'll have you consider, that if you're watching this video right now, is all too familiar. Because here is the thing. When you hit the wall of panic, in my experience, there's only one of two places you can go. You can go into complete and utter collapse and failure, or you can suck it up and you can move out of no man's land into the revolt, a period of fucking hustle and grind that successful business owners like you and I know is all too familiar. A state of just sucking it up and getting shit done because that's what we have to do and that's what we're supposed to do. A state otherwise known as persistence. A place where we can just take and get that next thing ticked off the list. A place where we can just get that customer off our back. A place where we can just make that next sale. Now the good news is this, if you break through the persistence, you know what you're always hit? You always hit the rescue. And the rescue is where you will turn things around. A place where you can breathe a sigh of relief because everything is back on track. Finally, you can see the wood through the trees and start focusing on making money again and getting people back to your business. A place where ultimately you have, again, that period of lavishing with pride and power. But here's the kicker. Consider that once you move your business through the final stages of the revolt, through the rescue, there's only one way in which you can go, and that is back into a place of conflict, crisis, inside of no man's land. Sometimes it's a matter of weeks, other times it takes months, sometimes even years. But the one thing is certain in my experience is that a revolt by its nature is always followed by crisis and conflict, and crisis and conflict is always followed by the overstretch, and then the pursuing a death spiral continues, which is why Feast and Famine is so prevalent in the small business community. It's why no business in no sector is ever immune, and it's why I'll have you consider that looking for a new way is the way forward. Now, 72 hours after Barney took his first breath, I was driving home, and I came to the realization that this was the 5th time in the last 12 months that in my business I'd been through this endless cycle of overstretch, persecution, panic and fatigue, and I came to the realization that if I didn't do something about it, I was fucked. Emma would leave, Barney would be in tow, and chances were I would end up worn out and fatigued in some fucking hospital bed due to a lack of sleep and worry. And it's exactly why on this journey, when I came home, I decided I needed to do something different. I decided I needed to pull myself out of this spiral of conflict and crisis, and I decided to do something for the sake of my business, for the sake of my family, and for the sake of my health. So what I decided to do was I decided to perform a revolution in my business. A revolution that was going to help me get off this spiral and take me and launch me to a place where I could provide more. A place where I could be more, and a place where I could ultimately make more money with my business without, of course, having to put up with all this shit. A place that we've now known and come to call having a one-man empire. A business that leverages a system we call inside this movement passive profit production, because when you can transform your business into one that's structured with passive profit production in mind, it gives you something that you never thought would be possible in a million years. Freedom. You see, all of my life, I would always have the thought that I was carrying a burden that was meant to be, that I was meant to be the man of the house. I was meant to provide more and more and more without worrying about the consequences of what that was doing. A feeling like there was something behind me, literally stalking me down from noon to night. A feeling and a fear that started going away as soon as I started on this journey, on this revolution of transformation that climaxed into me having a business that was built on a one-man empire philosophy. one of the primary reasons that people take up arms inside a revolution like this inside of their own business is because of the sense of control it instills. For the sense of certainty that it provides for your life, for the sense of possibility, and for the realization sometimes for the very first time that yes, your business can truly provide for you. And no, I'm not talking about providing you with some money. Sure, the cars are nice, and sure, the 3 or 4 holidays a year are a good side effect. What I'm talking about is providing you with something else too, providing you with the freedom. Providing you with the freedom of choice, providing you with the freedom of stability, and providing you with the freedom of time. Something that most of us took this leap of faith for in the first place, something that's available to you as a like-minded man and woman that has decided to come on board this revolution inside of their business, in this movement we call having a one-man empire. And don't worry, I get it. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking, Charlie, you know what? I don't want to take on an army of employees. How am I going to get all of this shit done? How am I going to scale? How am I going to make the shift that I need to make to put myself in a position so that I can pull myself out of no man's land? So let me ask you to consider the possibility. Let me ask you to consider the possibility that there is a new way that is going to allow you to do all of this and more. A new way that allows you to operate a small business that you can scale properly without bottlenecks and without the headaches that have and come with having an army of employees. You see, a new way that allows you to operate your business while you can safely sit in the knowledge that there is money coming in each and every single month without you having to manually and go out and beg for it. A new way that allows you to operate your business in a way that removes the overstretch, that removes the choke hold, that allows you to break through the consistent persecution and panic so that ultimately you can set yourself free. A new way that is available for you right now, as long as you open up your mind to the possibility. As long as you open up your mind to the possibility about what you've been told about running a business up until now is 100% dead wrong. Because, I don't know about you, but in my experience, 80% of the stuff you read online is based in fantasy land and is not in the real world. So right now I want you to think. I want you to think for a moment and consider the possibility. Consider the possibility that there is a new way. Consider the possibility that this new way is actually transforming your business into a one-man empire. Consider the possibility that having a one-man empire will set you free. And consider the possibility right now that all you need to do to set yourself free is have the guts and determination to seize a new opportunity. Seize a new opportunity when you present yourself, because right now there is an opportunity waiting for you inside of your inbox, an opportunity to watch the next part of this documentary series, an opportunity where I'm going to show you exactly how to make this simple revolution happen inside of your business by showing you how to master the science and the art of what we call passive profit production. Ultimately, how anyone can use 3 simple keys to do it, to automate it, and to make sure that the getting of new people through the door happens automatically. How you can automate turning those people into paying customers, and then how you can automate getting those customers to buy more again and again and again. So if you are sick and tired of the fatigue, sick and tired of chasing customers, sick and tired of being overstretched by penny pinching customers, and sick and tired of customers choosing cheap competitors over you, then this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity that I urge you to grab by the throat by going right now to your email and hunting out for the link in video 2 and watching it right now, because when you do, you'll realize that this new way is a new opportunity for you, for your business, and it's just a stone's throw away, and it will change everything by opening up the doors to what you really, really desire. But it all starts with you considering the possibility that a one-man empire is possible for you and is possible right now.